All right, this is going to be a second, more in-depth look at the first touchdown that Tyreek Hill had against the Ravens. Of course, we're all disappointed by it as Ravens fans. We should be impressed with the design, to be honest with you, from a Dolphins perspective. We should be angry at the call, if you ask me, based upon the situation that is 3rd and 10 and the coverage that we end up playing. So what I did, based upon some recommendations from the people in my Discord, was take a look at other teams covering it in previous seasons. So I have about a 4-minute video of other teams running very similar concepts. Now, me personally, in my background, we just call it over concept, but NFL people, call it Yankee. Or they have other various names for it. Whatever. It's just a clear out route by one wide receiver. In this case, Tyreek Hill. But the Ravens got beat by the clear out route, and then an over route, a deep over route, fitting into that vacated space where the corner presumably has carried that vertical route. So I did create a diagram for it. You can see it in the background. This still here. And then I'll annotate this a little bit as we get going. But I want to show the play, first of all, so everybody's on the same page and knows what play I'm talking about. I'm sure as Ravens fans, it's burned into our brain. We just want to move on. We want to see the Ravens play again, all right? One thing to note that someone actually kind of messaged me about was, like, when you get number 3 here as a tight end, that guy's not as much of a threat to run this deep over. It's normally a speedy, number 2 receiver, or if they put a wide receiver as the number 3, meaning the inside guy, the guy closest to the left tackle. You've seen this play probably half a dozen times already. We're bringing heavy pressure. I think it's a zone blitz where we're dropping Oweh out of there to cover the flats for whatever reason. I'm not a huge fan of it. To be honest with you, on 3rd and 10, I would like him to be rushing, and I would like guys like Chuck Clark and Pepe Williams to be covering. It's kind of that old saying that Ray said to Dean Pease apparently at one point, let's let the rush guys rush and the cover guys cover. In my opinion, it almost looks like we just didn't have enough cover guys available to help out Marcus Peters and Kyle Hamilton. So we'll just talk about the conflict for a minute. I did talk about it in a video that I put out, I think, last night. Now, Kyle Hamilton's eyes are obviously over here. Marcus Peters appears to be locked on there. I kind of believe this is just man everywhere he goes for Peters. But, based on some people's reaction to it, some people didn't like me saying that. I just kind of think Peters is beat. Having said that, there are times where DBs, the corner and the safety, I believe Hamilton's the free here, can communicate things pre-snap about the formation or during the play about how to switch off receivers. For whatever reason, Kyle Hamilton's eyes are burned to the other side of the formation. Marcus Peters is manned up on Tyreek Hill. Bad idea, obviously. All right, let's look at other teams running it. Now, this is going to be a play action. Last year, Cowboys against the Raiders. Couple of things to notice. First of all, it's a great throw by Dak Prescott, all right? It's a very similar route concept in that you have a clear out up here, a deep over concept here. Watch this linebacker, though. One of the things that I have said about the Ravens defense in the past under Wink Martindale is we spend too much time with linebackers lined up at the line of scrimmage, too much time with linebackers lined up in a place that's not typical instead of the fundamental location that they're supposed to be lined up to read plays and react to it. Is Patrick Queen capable of recognizing this type of concept and then running underneath of it? Yes, he's fully capable. He just needs to be put in the position to do so and then coached up to recognize it. Now, you may have a different opinion. You may say Patrick Queen's not capable of that, coach. But I believe in people, and I believe that people do what they're coached to do. And in my opinion, we spend too much time disguising things. And I forget who it was that said it so brilliantly in a comment earlier today, or maybe late last night, was with all those backups on the field, why are we disguising things? You can see that there's an attempt here by this corner and this safety to pass off this route combination. You get a vertical. This is filmed from last year. And again, a tightly aligned receiver, running underneath there. We're Kyle Hamilton, because that's what we're talking about, basically. We're Kyle Hamilton to take over the vertical. Does it look like during the play, not this one, obviously, but does it look like Marcus Peters is sitting and going to be able to switch off and run with that over concept? Maybe that explains why he was beat so badly, because maybe that's what was in Marcus Peters' mind and maybe he recognized it. So when we hear, in a press conference or in an article about miscommunication, really what it is lack of recognition by at least one player. And in this case, maybe it's Kyle Hamilton. I'm not sure. I kind of suspect that it is, if that's what the Ravens were trying to do. And when I say that's what they were trying to do, I mean pass it off. Essentially play it like zone. That means your corner has to recognize it. One of the things, I think it was Richard Sherman, like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, talked about the future of playing corner is, butt or back to the sideline, eyes looking inside, or looking at the quarterback at certain times, depending on, the routes that you're seeing and the formation, and then being able to adjust to routes. This one clearly, if this corner goes with the vertical, then this deep over route is going to be wide open. Now, it is still open, but he is at least attempting to switch off on that guy. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. 3rd and 10, which one would you rather give up? You would rather give up the deep over. If you remember last year at home against the Vikings, week 1, the first touchdown that the Vikings had, same exact concept. Chuck Clark, in this case, Chuck Clark went with the over concept, and the vertical beat us by Justin Jefferson. Somewhat similar concept here, except now you have 2 detached, and you're getting 2 deep crosses, all right? And then the clear out route is down here to the bottom. Tyreek Hill obviously is not a clear out player. He's a guy who burns you because he burned us twice, right? Conceptually, you've got vertical, this guy fitting into that open space, and you can see the corner has his back turned, so very clearly it's man. You're going to be in different coverages depending on the situation. I offer to you that we were in a very poor coverage there anyway, no matter what the concept was that the Dolphins called. End zone angle, same play. Look, I had done this video before, these plays here. So if you're like, Coach is showing us the same plays he showed us in another video like 2 months ago, that is true. I just feel like it fits with the situation. A little bit different last year in that same Dallas game, Deshaun Jackson running the over. Now there is no clear out route. This is just man, but it is 2 deep crossers. And in this case, Deshaun Jackson just beats his guy easily. There's no safety help whatsoever. So there is no clear out concept for this play in terms of it being related. But you can see in man against fast receivers, it's going to be difficult to cover that all the way from the other side of the field. So I'm certainly not advocating that we should have been in man in that situation. I'm just not sure that a zone blitz and bringing 2 of our coverage guys, Pepe Williams and Chuck Clark, on a blitz while dropping Owe is an efficient or effective use of our personnel. And you can kind of see it in a lot of these plays. Now, I don't have the down and distance associated with it. You can probably see it on the side of the screen. But you don't have defensive ends dropping out in some of these situations. So the coverages are different inherently. It's not a zone coverage. Another over concept, this time with a tight end slipping out into the flats. There's no clear out route up here, but you get a tight end that blocks and then slips out into the flats. So you can see it's difficult to cover these concepts, whether you're man or zone. Were Dak Prescott to have a little bit more time, he could throw this ball out here to what looks like CeeDee Lamb in the corner of the end zone. So it's a difficult route to cover from the other side of the field. Try to get you some other film here. Very similar, except now you've got a wheel down to the bottom side. I think you get a clear out route. Here's the over, fitting into that vacated space. Simultaneous to that, I think you get a wheel route by Taysom Hill. So they're getting this outside linebacker out of there. They're getting DBs pushed downfield. Ravens, if you ask me, need to do a better job of recognizing route combinations. And I have always said that I think some NFL teams play too many coverages. Are we playing too many coverages? I ain't saying that, no. Because I was one of the main ones saying I'm glad we're playing multiple coverages. My next breath, though, in most of those videos when I have said that is, that does open you up to blown coverages at times. Is this a blown coverage? Is this a miscommunication? I'm not sure, but on a foundational level, what it is a poor job of allocating your resources in terms of your coverage guys and in terms of your rush guys. Going up top, incomplete, but you can see the concept again. Vertical, clear out. Vertical and over concept. Again, NFL teams call it Yankee, or NFL people call it Yankee. So you can see how they're playing this. Though. Look, you have an underneath player who's trying to fit in this window where the ball would be thrown. Let's track him and see where he comes from. That's a strong safety, so he's sitting down. Still has his eyes on the quarterback, but he has awareness of the route that's developing there. We don't get that help. You can watch plays of us last year against Minnesota, of us against the Browns. We do not get that help in terms of from the second level. Not any of them. Queen, Bynes, none of our guys. So the player I'm talking about is this guy right here. Could Kirk Cousins, possibly fit it over top of him? Yeah, I think the percentage on that throw is going to be lower if that second level defender, really it's a safety who dropped down, if that second level defender isn't making himself available. Hopefully this is making sense for you guys. Multiple examples from Green Bay and Minnesota games. Last one, 2 receiver route combination. Look at the job by this inside linebacker. Now, this is one of my favorite players in the history of the game, Dante Hightower. All right? So you're getting the clear out down here, over from the other side. Watch Hightower. As soon as he recognized, now it's under center, okay? So there's a difference in terms of the technique. He was looking for run at one point, so he got the wrong read because there's a play action fake to the running back. But then as soon as he recognizes, oh, it's pass, watch what he does. He understands concepts in football. Now, you may say, well, that's Dante Hightower. Patrick Queen can't do that. Josh Bynes can't do that. If you practice fundamental reactions to things every day, those become built in. You do improve on them. I don't care if you're a boxer. I don't care if you're a jiu-jitsu guy. I don't care if you're a football player. And in my opinion, it appears, I could be wrong, this is a broad jump. This is a huge jump. It appears as if we might be spending a lot of time, once again, with linebackers and safeties lined up near the line of scrimmage and then peeling out, as opposed to lining up in their fundamental base location that they're supposed to be in terms of a 3-level defense, where level 1 is your D-line and outside linebackers, level 2 is your inside linebackers, and level 3 is your DBs. Hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Dante Hightower. I have said that to you many times before. I think the allocation of our resources was poor on some of those coverage calls, and I think that maybe the recognition of certain concepts, either Kyle Hamilton at the free, or it was Marcus Peters down here as the corner, or whoever our second-level players are, I think that the recognition of it might be related to the fact that we're playing so many coverages. Am I saying that we're going to blow coverages every week? No, I'm not. I have some of these concepts and some from last year for real that beat us that I was trying to show you guys, hoping that you enjoyed the video and an attempt to at least show that these concepts work against a lot of teams, number one. Number two, with aware and savvy and smart safeties, linebackers at the second level, you can defend them. The problem is when you've got second level defenders, blitzing, and then a first level defender trying to play the second level, there is no way for Oweh to fit under this deep. That's not sound. That's not realistic. You know what I mean? Maybe in Madden or maybe in the new version of college football next year, but not real football that's on the field. So you got Patrick Queen here underneath of it. He clearly saw the over route, but look where he's lined up. He's got a long way to go, number one. His angle's taking him this way. If we're trying to defend this route, we need him to veer off this way like Dante Hightower did in the previous play that I showed you. Were he to be located here, and recognize pass, does he understand, I've got to turn my back and run with this? I mean, he may not be there developmentally. He's a 23-year-old player. Dante Hightower is, an incredibly experienced guy. I'm just saying that it's not all Kyle Hamilton's fault. It's not all Marcus Peters' fault. It's not all the coach's fault either, to be honest with you. There's multiple people to blame. I'm trying to bring a little bit of depth to the coverage of it. Not that there isn't some out there, because I'm sure other Ravens content creators have done a great job of covering it. I just wanted to link it to other plays so you guys could see that certain things in terms of awareness, pre-snap recognition, and then post-snap awareness, would help us solve this problem. No one can cover Tyreek Hill one-on-one with the whole field, right? You need leverage side defenders. And in my opinion, doing a zone blitz with 3 deep and 3 under didn't really provide Marcus Peters or Kyle Hamilton or anybody the proper leverage to deal with the threats that the Dolphins were able to deploy. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you think of it. Second and hopefully final look at the over or Yankee concept defeating our defense for a touchdown. Once again, just like it did last year in week 1 at home against the Minnesota Vikings. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments section and leave a like to help the video kind of gain more exposure and more reach.